y'all, what's going on? It's your girl Nikisha, aka She Slays, because that's exactly what I do. Coming to y'all on just an amazing day of gratitude. And I just get to thinking, like, God is not a genie. Like, we get so comfortable asking things of God, but what about the things that God asks of us? The book of Isaiah, first chapter, spells out specifically just some of the things that God expects and asks of us. Like, cease to do evil, learn to do good, seek justice, plead for the widows, or plead for the fatherless, and plead for the widows, and things like that. Like, give to the homeless, or give to the poor rather. Make peace with your neighbors, love your neighbor as you love yourself. There are many of things that God asks us to do, and they're not always easy. God requires a sacrifice, right, in order to move on our behalf. When we ask certain things of Him, He's going to ask certain things of us, and they will not always be easy. We want big things from God. He wants major things from us. That will hurt, okay? Fun fact, real quick story. Once upon a time, a few years ago, matter of fact, the same year that my husband and I reconnected and decided to be married, I was in a relationship with a, by all standards, decent guy. However, he was not my husband to be. There wasn't a future that I could see where we got married without him doing more work in his single season before that could happen. So, but otherwise, really good relationship. The guy adored me pretty much. Worked, had his own vehicle. So, pretty good. Whatever you want to call it. Decent guy, but knew he wasn't my husband. However, that said, I was still content with being in the relationship. Whatever it just was gonna be, we're just gonna be. We'll be fine. We're good. We're fine. God, out of nowhere, asked me in the month of August of that year to end the relationship. He told me that I had to end the relationship. He hadn't cheated. He hadn't beat on me. He didn't lie to me. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing major. It was really out of left field, but God required that of me. So I chose to be obedient to that instruction. And I'm so glad that I did, but it was not easy. It was such a difficult conversation. And I was just like, what? Clearly that I heard him say that that's what needed to happen. And I said, okay, Lord, very willing. And I was like, if you want me to do this, then I need you to give me the words to have this conversation. I need you to speak through me for this message to be delivered and for this to happen. Like, I'll do what you want. That's fine. But I'm going to need you to lead me and guide me all the way on this one. I'm going to need you to give me the words for this conversation. So the conversation was so difficult because good guy. Truly adored me. So it was very, very heartbreaking. It was so sad, but I knew it had to happen. We had to cut the cord. So I gave him the words that God gave me. He accepted it. He accepted it enough for that conversation to come to a halt and for it to be clear, like, hey, we can't be together anymore. But I cried after that conversation because it was hard and it hurt, but I was okay with it because I knew it was God's instruction and it had to happen. So we fast forward maybe like a week to a month later, and we find out that we made sure that, I gave him time to, whatever, help him find a place, whatever. So we get into his own apartment, find out that his daughter had actually been getting abused by his ex-wife, and didn't know. So the daughter ended up needing to come live with him, and had he not had his own place, that might not have happened. It would have complicated things. Were we still together, living in the same place, whatever, shagging up. It could have complicated things, but God knew what He was doing, and I'm so glad that I was obedient to that. So that relationship ended, and then fast forward, that was August, so maybe 4 months later, so in December, my husband reached out. We just we're friends on social media. We knew each other since high school. And, he just happened to reach out once I finished law school, saying congratulations, asking how life has been, and the rest is history. We have been thick as thieves ever since. And I'm just so grateful that God removed that. I don't want to call it a roadblock, but, took that relationship out of the way to make room for my actual destiny fulfilling relationship. That is my marriage. That is what I wanted, and that is what I need and desired, and all of the things. So just lean into the things that God is asking of you to do, even if it's hard, even if you don't understand why. Obedience is better than sacrifice, and it is for a reason. And I had no idea, neither of us had any idea that his daughter was suffering like that. And it wasn't until we took the first step of obedience, of ending our relationship, that we discovered that, and were thankful and relieved and understood why it had to happen. So God is not a genie. He requires things of us as well. So just lean in and choose obedience, especially when we want him to move for us. We also have to move for him. Y'all be blessed.